go. All right, here we go. What is good, YouTube? This your boy Aaron,
It's Brian.
and this is Courtside View Podcast, and we are back today for another episode. And boy, it is a packed episode, so I'm gonna try to move things along rather quickly with a couple of things because we got NFL, then we have NBA, and then I brought back a popular segment that we used to do in the past. I brought back the Fraud Watch segment. I can't wait to do that. 3 players that are under surveillance, I would like to say. So just wait for that because it's going to be entertaining. But let's start it off with the NFL. Let's give our picks. I don't really want to get too involved in the Thursday night game because look, it's the Broncos, it's the Saints. There's not much else to
Yeah,
say.
it was a wash.
I lost the bet on that game. It was a goofy bet. It was one of them goofy bets. It was both teams make a field goal in each half.
Mm.
And the Saints were so bad that they couldn't kick one field goal in the second half. I was so mad about that. But I was able to still come out of that game with another bet that I put for just the entirety of week 7, and that is every team is going to score at least 10 points this week. So I still have that bet going on, but the other bet I was disappointed because I thought, man, this seems like a home run. All they got to do is just kick a field goal in each half, and then that's that. But nope, the Saints, they just had to be that bad. But anywho, let's get to the picking the games. I want to do something different because it's such a jam-packed show. I want to do it to where we pick a couple of games that are like game of the week for us, per se. We think it's the game of the week, and we want to do extensive analysis on those games. So the first game I want to talk about is the Houston Texans versus the Green Bay Packers. And we have two of the brightest young stars at QB at Jordan Love and CJ Stroud, two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, two of the top 10 quarterbacks in my opinion. I think CJ Stroud is a top 5 QB. Jordan Love, I think he's one of the better 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. Uh, the line is they have the Packers as the favorites at -3. They think the Houston Texans are the underdog in this scenario. Obviously, Green Bay, they're at home, so that gives them a little bit of advantage. But here's my thing with this game. With the Packers, their offense has been rolling lately, but I'm a little concerned for the defense. I think that this defense has, in terms of like turning the ball over, they're the best at it. But I don't think this defense can match up against a good team, a great offense. Like the Houston Texans, they have been up and down with their offense, but some of that can be because they were without Joe Mixon. So your running game they really weren't able to run the ball effectively with Cam Akers. Now he's on Minnesota, and then I forgot who the other running back they had. But when I look at the stats for both teams, Green Bay, they're one of the worst in the league. I think they're 30th in pass rush win rate, and I think they're what does it say? They're 26th in run stop win rate. And in order to beat the Texans, in my opinion, against an offense like this, CJ Stroud, you're going to have to get to the quarterback. You're going to have to make it uncomfortable for CJ Stroud and that Houston Texans offense, and you're going to have to stop the run. Well, Minnesota Vikings, what did they do? They were able to stop the run, and they were able to get to CJ Stroud. 5 sacks and 13 pressures. Number one, they didn't have Joe Mixon that game. So some of that you can be like, well, they were able to stop the run because they didn't have Joe Mixon. But they were able to get to CJ Stroud at the end of the day, and they still had Nico Collins. They turned him over twice, and that's how you beat the Texans. The Jaguars game, they were able to stop the run as well, but again, no Joe Mixon. They had like 2 sacks against CJ Stroud. They had over 10 pressures against that Houston Texans offensive line, but they ended up losing the game. But it was still a competitive game. You have to stop the run and you have to get the CJ Stroud, or else, in my opinion, you're going to lose. I think Green Bay is not going to be able to do that, and I believe the Texans will inevitably win this game in a close contest. I have them. I'm not going to give you a score, but I think it's going to be a close game.
Actually, that's a good analysis. You make good points with the pass rush win rate and the run stop percentage and all of that stuff.
Can I give you another stat?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, the Houston Texans, their pass rush win rate, they're number 4. And the Green Bay Packers, I would say they're like middle of the pack when it comes to pass blocking win rate. So with that being said, because the Houston Texans are one of the better pass rushing teams and the Green Bay Packers are like middle of the pack when it comes to pass blocking, I think that the Houston Texans pass rushing will be able to really affect Jordan Love and that rushing attack and just the passing as well. So that's my biggest concern. I haven't even looked at the injury report. I know Jimmy Ward is going to be out. I don't know who else is going to be out, but I haven't looked at the injury report yet. And so that's just another reason why I probably go with the Houston Texans game.
That's fair, honestly. But any given Sunday, anything could happen. The Packers could very well just flat out win. But you know what? I'm gonna go with the Packers. I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna go with the Packers. I'm gonna go with the Packers because I feel like it's gonna be one of those games where you think that, oh, the defense not gonna show up to play, and they just want all of a sudden just show up to play. And then Bobby Slowick is gonna look silly out there trying to run the ball on first down when it's not working. And I know they got Joe Mixon back. He's a great contributor to the run game. Pretty much the run game only works when he is playing. But I don't feel like the Packers they'll just step up this week. I don't know. I like the Texans. I like the defense. The defensive side of the ball is what scares me for the Packers offense because, like you said, they got those 2 pass rushers and they're both playing. They are missing Jimmy Ward, Aziz Al-Shahir, I believe that's his name. So he's a really good linebacker on that defense. But y'all got Jaden Reed playing, correct? Is he going to play?
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to play, yeah.
This could very much be a shootout.
It could.
But the problem with Texans, even though the offense looked good last week, no Nico Collins, he is a playmaker. And Jair Alexander has been playing much better this year after the shaky first week or two. So it's gonna be tough for them receivers out there. They ain't gonna be a walk in the park. Y'all secondary is actually pretty underrated in my opinion. It's just the front 7 is just I believe Devontae Wyatt isn't playing too.
Yeah, he's not playing. He's out.
But I don't know. I feel like I think the Packers will win the shootout. Because think about it, the Texans couldn't move the ball at all. I hate using this type of logic because it kind of doesn't make sense. But the Texans couldn't do anything with Minnesota. Y'all at least made it a close game. Granted, it's a divisional game and it's just football. But I mean, I feel like y'all faced pretty similar competition. I mean, granted, y'all, and the only difference is a win for the Texans. They have an extra win. But I'm gonna go with the Packers. I just feel it. I just feel like in my gut pause, I can feel it.
Do you think that the Packers will be able to get the running game going this game? I mean, I heard Josh Jacobs, he was in an interview talking about how one of the defensive linemen for the Houston Texans was talking all this smack about what they're going to do against our running game. So it seems like Josh Jacobs, he has a little bulletin board material for this game against the Texans. Do you think that the running game will be an emphasis against the Texans? Because I think in order for them to win, they have to be multi-dimensional in their offense. It can't just be, we're just going to throw the ball 35 times. I feel like Josh Jacobs, he has to be very involved and efficient this game as well.
Yeah, I mean, I trust Matt LaFleur to come up with a good game plan, especially against other Shanahan tree coach on the other side. So they should be used to seeing, what type of stuff, because it's all the same tree. But yeah, I trust Matt LaFleur. Oh, he's definitely going to make the offense multi-dimensional. He's not going to just have y'all try to do one thing, especially against a team like the Texans, where maybe the passing game won't be the best option because, well, they get a lot of pressure easily with those two dudes
Mm-hmm.
on the edge. So I'm pretty sure they'll try to do more run games to maybe see more screen game. Maybe get
Mm-hmm.
the ball into your playmaker like Jaden Reed. He's dynamic. You can play him out the backfield in the slot, outside. You can do all types of things with them type of weapons. So I do believe the Texas can be had over top. I want to see the speedsters just maybe like a post. You can even send them on a go. I mean, Christian Watson got burned, as you've seen from that touchdown he had, I believe, last week against the Cardinals. He just ran past everybody, and there's
Mm-hmm.
no Jimmy Ward back there. So I test him deep a few times throughout this game too.
Yeah,
And
that's a good point.
Stingley isn't. He got beat. I don't know if it was last week or the week before on a deep ball. I think that no, that was against. He was playing the Titans, I believe, and I think Calvin really got him deep that one
Yeah,
time.
it
But yeah,
was Calvin Ridley. Yeah.
I try him deep at least a
Okay.
few times just to keep him like you ain't about to play up and try to folk key in on a run or anything like that. I want to see a lot of routes over the middle of the field. Utilize that speed. Make them play sideline to sideline football.
I like it. I like it. You make some interesting points. I'm just a little pessimistic about this game. I just think the Packers aren't ready yet. I just think this Texans team, I don't know, maybe I'm overrating this Texans team a little bit. I just think they're one of the they're a little bit better than this Packers team right now. I feel like the Packers, they haven't reached their ceiling yet. They're still on the way up, and it's only a matter of time before they finally get it together. But in terms of just like the defensive side of the ball, which I don't think they're necessarily ready yet to just dominate a game like against a really really good offense and against a really really good quarterback like the like CJ Stroud. I don't think they're necessarily there yet, but I could always be wrong. You make some interesting points, and we'll just have to see on that one. I want to transition to the other game of the week, the Lions versus the Vikings. This is another interesting game because Aiden Hutchinson, him being out really just changes the dynamic of this game overall because I think the amount of sacks that he has, I think he has like
He was
over
the sack
half
leader.
of, yeah, he was and I think he leads in like pressures as well, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken. Now, does he? I
I
could be
believe
wrong
so.
about that. I think
He
it's
was
either
he was one of the
pressure.
top last year. It's not far fetched to say he'd be at the top this year.
He also I'm just looking at he also is the leader in pass rush win rate. So he affected the game in so many different levels for the Detroit Lions, and for him to be out be out this game and be out the rest of the year is a huge loss for the Lions because now how are they going to amass pressure? Because are you going to or is it going to be like with the Packer situation where now you're going to have to send more than four? You're going to have to send maybe five or six instead of just
Yeah,
we're just going to rely on four or three of our dudes and we can just have dudes in coverage and not have to worry about blitzing, not have to worry about taking more risks because we got an elite pass rusher. Now you don't have that anymore. And the Vikings, they're pretty good when it comes to pass blocking. I'm just looking at, let me see if I can find it real quick. I think they're like top five and like, yeah, they're like, let's see, hold on, Vikings. Yeah, they're like number 8 in pass block win rate. Like they're a pretty good offensive line when it comes to the
and they
passing
face
game.
some dudes. They face some dudes on the opposing D line. Nick Bosa, Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson, and them type of
Yeah.
dudes. So yeah,
Yeah, and then another thing is that they're number 2 in run stop win rate, which the Lions like to do a lot. Like, Jahmyr Gibbs, David
Yeah.
Montgomery, they turn the ball over a lot. That defense is really, really good. The scheme is really, really good. They're 15th in pass pass rush win rate, but still number 2 in run stop. That's tremendous. I'm gonna go with the Vikings this game. I just think the loss of Aiden Hutchinson is so massive for the Lions in this game that I feel like Minnesota being at home, just coming off of a bye week, they've just been rolling high. Aaron Jones should be back. I love this Vikings team, just all facets of the ball. Yeah, Sam Darnold, he gets a little, he turns the ball over a little bit sometimes. I think when he has a clean pocket, I think he's the worst in the league when it comes to turnover-worthy plays with a clean pocket.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, for whatever reason, Kevin O'Connell just figures out a way to get the best out of Sam Darnold. He's like top 7 in passer rating right now. I love this team so much. I think they're going to show why they were 5-0, and I believe that they beat the Lions this game. Just the loss of Aiden Hutchinson is too much.
Yeah, that Aiden Hutchinson is a huge blow to that defense, losing the most productive edge rusher in the league, and you really don't really have a solid replacement. I can't really name dudes on that D line besides Aleem McNeil because he was killing my Cowboy last week. But it's gonna be tough trying to get to Sam Darnold. But I do believe this game will be a band for band off. And I believe the Lions will come out of this band for band with the win.
Really? You think
I
the
believe their
Vikings defense will
offense
get
can
exposed?
I wouldn't say exposed, but I feel like Ben Johnson has something. I mean, Brian Flores is a great DC, but I feel like the offense will step up because they know that our defense probably isn't going to be able to hold as much. So we're going to make Sam Darnold outplay our QB.
Okay. I mean, that sounds good and all. Do you think Jared Goff is going to play mistake-free football?
I don't think Sam Darnold will play mistake-free football because there's playmakers in that secondary. Brian Branch being one of them. So I mean, Terrion Arnold, he's been playing really good for a rookie. As far as if I looked up his like stats about how many yards he's given up, it's actually not bad for a
Not
rookie.
that bad.
I think the most he's given up in the game, I think, was like 70 something. But most of the time it's more like 30, 40.
Okay.
I mean, he better. He ain't gonna
Jefferson.
lock up Justin Jefferson. He ain't gonna lock him up.
This is
But
Jordan Addison. Justin Jefferson.
that is true. It's gonna be a shootout. I believe it's gonna be a shootout in Minnesota. And I'm gonna just go with the Lions, man.
Oh, okay.
The Vikings could very well walk out of here 6-0, but
going with the experience. You're going with the guys that've been there before, that know how to win these type of games. Okay, all right, fine. That's cool. That's cool. We split on both games. That's cool. The last game of the week, I want to go to Kansas City versus the 49ers. This one right here, Kansas City, they're going to be on the road. They playing the 49ers. The 49ers have, I think they lost to Kansas City like the past 5 times. Like Kansas City has had 49ers number for many, many, many years. So just looking at the injury report, Kansas City, they're not that, for the most part, they're relatively healthy. Obviously, Rashid Rice is going to be gone for the rest of the year. Isaiah Pacheco, he's still going to be out for many, many, many weeks. But for the most part, they look relatively healthy. Doesn't seem like anybody is on the injury report that's significant besides Juju Smith-Schuster, he's expected to play this game. For the 49ers, I think it's the same. Ricky Pearsall, he's expected to play this game. He got shot in the chest, and he's still going to suit up before Christian McCaffrey. That's crazy. That's just crazy to me. Jawan Jennings, he's expected to be out this game. Um, Obviously we already know that
Jake
they're all
Moody.
pro. Yeah, they're all pro safety. He's going to be out for the remainder of the season. We already know that. And then Christian McCaffrey already talked about how he's still dealing with that injury. This game, it's a very interesting game. The 49ers, their defense is always going to be good. They're always going to be great when just accumulating pressure from their defense, their defensive line. Nick Bosa, he's having a tremendous year. I think he has 18 pressures right now on the season, which is absurd. Like that is just absurd. He's one of the better pass rushers in the NFL. You know what? I'll let you go first. Who do you think is going to win
Put me
this
on the
game?
spot. This
Yeah.
is whew, I'm kind of conflicted on this one because on one end it's the Chiefs, and the Chiefs just have Shanahan's number for whatever reason. More specifically, Steve Spagnuolo has Kyle Shanahan's number. They haven't beat them in I don't know how long. But the Chiefs are weak on the offensive side. No Pacheco, no Rasheed Rice. They got to rely on Juju and a rookie to really lead them to victory in the past. And they still have Travis Kelce, obviously. He's really stepped up in the absence of the other offensive weapons. But man, it's 49ers.
You want me to tell you a stat?
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
all the Brock Purdy fanboys that say Brock Purdy doesn't have any protection, he has to run around. Well, according to ESPN, I'm looking at the stat right now, and the San Francisco 49ers are number 4 at pass blocking win rate.
Mhm.
I'm just saying. Now, some of that you can say, well, Brock Purdy, he does do a good job of moving around, avoiding sacks, which is true. He has gotten better at that. But at the same time, that offensive line is not as bad as what people think it is. So he does have help on that offensive line, especially when you got
Yeah.
Trent Williams back there.
It's going to be tougher for the 49ers because CMC was a dynamic weapon against them in that Super Bowl. And, your offense gets a little more predictable when he's not playing. Can't really do as much things like out of the backfield as far as run routes out of the backfield. And you're playing more man-on-man football for the most part. And the Chiefs defense really thrive on that. And I'm gonna go Chiefs. The Chiefs just find a way to get it done. I don't know, man. It's like no matter all
Mm-hmm.
through all the adversity, they still find a way to pull out a win. Pat Mahomes could throw 3 interceptions, they still somehow win. I mean, I don't even know what to say about these dudes at this point. This is like Belichick era Patriots level at this point because I don't know how we stop these dudes.
Yeah,
We're
and
gonna need
just
a heck of a game from that 49ers offense, I tell you that much. Because
let
the
me
obvious strength on the Chiefs is the defense.
Yeah, their defense is elite. Just looking at the stats, they're number 5 in opponents' rushing yards per game. So San Francisco's number 7, but with the way that the 49ers are running the ball, which is not very well without Christian McCaffrey. Obviously, Jordan Mason that first game, when Christian McCaffrey was out, he was tremendous. But ever since then, they haven't been that consistent. It's just it seems like the team that makes the 3 biggest plays are going to win the game. Like whoever takes care of the ball the most, which I think Mahomes
Now
has been turning the ball over.
Mahomes, he's been turning that ball over.
But Purdy, he has instances where he'll make that one mistake where you're like scratching your head, like, why would you throw that? Man, this is a tough one. I think I'm gonna go with Kansas City. I know, like, this might come back to bite me because I feel like
If
the 49ers might have a chip on their shoulder in this game, but it's just something about Kansas City against the 49ers that they just figure out a way to win the game. The 49ers are beat up as well. I just think I trust Patrick Mahomes more. I think Patrick Mahomes will just figure out a way. It's going to be a close game. So I
yeah,
think Kansas City, they just know how to win those games. Like they know how to win the close games every single time on the road or at home. It doesn't matter. And I believe Patrick Mahomes, they'll get the ball last or whatever it is, whatever time it is, and they'll just figure out a way to win the game. And I think that's what it'll be. It's going to be a low scoring game. I don't think it's going to be a shootout. I expect it to be like a 20-17 type of game where, it's going to be a lot of field goals, maybe a touchdown or two from each team. And that will really be how the game will look for me personally. And I have Kansas City this game. But I wouldn't be shocked if the 49ers end up winning this game because their defense is still really, really good. And they still have Debo. They still have George Kittle. They still have Brandon Ayuk. So so they still have weapons. It's just not having Christian McCaffrey is a huge loss for them. And yeah, I'm just gonna bet on Patrick Mahomes. It's just hard for me not to bet on Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. All right, that'll do it for our games of the week. Let's get to the other games on the dock real quick. We have just look at the schedule real quick.
The London game Sunday morning. That listen, I do not wake up to watch the freaking Patriots play the Jaguars unless you are
No,
a Drake May fan,
and
because
you're betting
this is
money
going to
on
be
that game.
bad hoops right here. I don't even know who to pick at this point. They got Jacksonville as a 6-point favorite.
I'm gonna
I
go
don't even know
Jacksonville in
about
this
that.
game. I'm gonna go Jacksonville this game because just because they've stayed at London for like an extra week, so that gives them an advantage off rip. Because last year I think it was they played the Bills, and I believe they may have stayed like for 2 weeks in London. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars this game.
Um, yeah, I'll just go with the Jazz. I'm gonna go with the favorite.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think we need to spend too much time on that. I'm gonna
No.
go. So Bills versus Titans. I'm gonna go with the Bills this game. They bringing in Amari Cooper. They finally have a good pass catcher. Not much to be said. The Titans aren't good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bills. Hopefully, we get another good Will Levis meme this week.
All right. Then we have the Eagles versus the Giants. Now this game right here, this might be a trap game. This could very well be a trap game. Like the Eagles only -3 against the Giants, which is very interesting considering they lost Andrew Thomas. I think Malik Neighbors should be back this game.
Yeah,
So
he'll be back.
I don't know. I'm a bit conflicted on this game because I could see the Eagles losing this game, like seriously. But I think they're coming off of, aren't they? I think they're coming off of a bye week.
Who?
The Eagles.
No, they played the Browns
Oh,
last
that
week.
was so they came off the bye week last week. Okay, so then I'm
Yeah,
wrong. All right. Shoot, they're in New York.
I'm going with the Eagles. The Eagles just own the Giants,
Ah, man, this is a toughie. I'll go
and
with the Eagles too.
I'm not a particular big fan of Jalen Hurts, but he's better than Daniel Jones. So
Yeah, yeah, but the Eagles, they're not a well
no
coached
Andrew
team.
Thomas.
They're not a well coached team, so I could see them like laying an egg against a Giants team that has a pretty solid defensive front. But I'm gonna go with the Eagles
Sexy
though.
Dexy.
I just don't have the guts to pick against the Eagles. We already talked about Lions, Vikings, Seahawks, and Falcons. This one is interesting. I'll go with the Falcons on this one. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Falcons on this one. I just think that the Seahawks defense has just been going downhill lately. Tariq Woolen's gonna be out this game. The Falcons they've just been red hot lately, and the offense has been grooving on all cylinders. I just think that they're gonna continue to groove on all cylinders, and I like the Falcons this game.
Whoa, Byron Murphy back? Yeah, I don't see him on the injury report.
Hmm, that's
Even
interesting.
still, I'm gonna go with the Falcons. They just have the hotter hand right now, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Seahawks defense can't stop anything at this point.
Yeah,
But they should. They getting Byron Murphy back. He's a very very solid interior guy, especially for a rookie. I believe he's second in pressures for rookies behind. Dang, I can't remember who's first. But
I think Jared
Yeah,
Verse is like
yeah,
first in
Jared Verse.
I
Yeah,
think
he has like
pressures.
23, 24, something like that.
Yeah, he's just insane right now.
Yeah,
He's gonna
but
he's gonna win defensive rookie of the year. So yeah,
I'm
Browns
gonna go
and
Falcons though.
Bengals.
Yeah.
Yeah, you going
Oh
Falcons? Okay, okay.
brother.
See this game. Normally in recent years I'll probably go Browns this game, but the Browns are so bad. Like there's nothing good about the Browns at all. They're not good offensively. They're not good defensively. Special teams, I don't even think they're that good as well. I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I think this is for the first time in a long time, the Bengals will finally beat the Browns, which is weird because you would think like with Joe Burrow, with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and all of them, they would finally beat the Browns. But the Browns have had their number for so many years. I just look at this Browns team. There's nothing good about it. Like literally nothing. They traded away their number one receiver, and a lot of the players are probably making business decisions now. I'm gonna go with the Bengals, even on the road. I'm gonna go with the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bengals too. It's just the offense. Granted, the offense did struggle against the New York Football Giants, but the Browns, they just like a broken team at this point. Their offense is going to be super. I know they get Nick Chubb back, and unless that man is a cyborg, I don't think he's going to be rushing 100 yards out the gate. But the way this Bengals defense been playing, who knows what could happen, right? But they lose Amari Cooper, so that's another pass catcher down. Now they got, I don't even know who their wide receiver 3 is at this point. I guess I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I'm quarterback versus quarterback. Joe Burrow blows that freak man out the water, so I'm gonna go with the
Absolutely.
Bengals.
Dolphins versus Colts. This one, Anthony Richardson is finally back. He's going to be
Mm.
starting this week. No Jonathan Taylor.
Oh wow,
Boy, oh boy, I'm not watching
this
this
about to
game.
be a stink off.
A stink off. I guess I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
go
just
with the
go with the
Colts.
Colts. Yeah,
I'm gonna go with the Colts. I'm not confident in that pick because it's Anthony Richardson and he's not good. But the Dolphins, they have a backup QB, Tyler Huntley. I mean, he's not all that great.
actually,
Yeah,
I'm going
where are you
Dolphins.
going? You're going Dolphins. Why? Because Davon Achan is back.
Not only because of that, they're coming off of a bye, and I feel like the Dolphins need to get into some type of rhythm. So when Tua probably, hopefully, comes back next week, that they'll be at a point. Okay, we're 500. Pretty much, let's start. Let's pick up where we left off. And the Colts defense isn't great, honestly. And Anthony
It's
Richardson is
horrible.
he's just not good as of right now. I'm pretty sure he'll turn the ball over at least one. And no Jonathan Taylor either. It's not looking great for him. Your best offensive weapons outside of Jonathan Taylor are Josh Downs, Michael Pittman. But your quarterback can't even get the ball to him effectively. So I
Oh,
mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think the Dolphins upset here.
all right, cool,
I feel like they
cool.
get a
On
big
the
game
road.
out of one of them offensive players, and it's like the coach going to have to play from behind, and it's just going to be a disaster.
Mm. All right. Uh, Going to the other game, Panthers versus Commanders. I'm going Commanders. Don't even really need to think about it
Nine and
that
a
much.
half
Panthers.
points. Good God,
Yeah, I feel
Terry, I
like
need
that's a
about
little
30 points from you, big fella. I'm
high.
gonna, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Commanders. Easiest pick of my
Yeah,
life.
yeah. Rams versus Raiders.
Oh, brother, another stink off.
I'm gonna go with the Rams this game. They have the better quarterback. They probably had the better offensive line.
Better coaching.
Better coaching as well. Not really much to say about this game.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Rams.
All right, and then we have the Sunday night game, the 8 o'clock game. Jets versus Steelers. Russell Wilson is starting this game. It is official.
This is gonna be a disaster.
The Jets have Devontae Adams. They traded for Devontae Adams, so now they have a true number one receiver, and then you got Garrett Wilson as your number two. Hey, I'm good. I'm gonna go with the Jets this game. The Jets are actually favored -2, which is interesting. I thought they were going to be the underdog, but it seems like the Steelers are the underdog. I'm gonna go with the Jets this game. They on the road, but I feel like they're gonna make a point of emphasis, like, hey, we got Devontae Adams now, and y'all don't. The offense is gonna be grooving on all cylinders. I liked how the offense looked in the past week against the Bills. It's just situationally they weren't able to connect on a few things in the red zone, and the kicker, he was missing a bunch of kicks. Greg Zuerlein. I think this week it will be different, and I expect them to score some points. I think the Steelers' offense with Russell Wilson at the helm, I think it's going to be a wake call. We're going to be like, should they have started Russell Wilson? That was a huge mistake. And I think the Jets defense, they will dominate this game. And they understand there's a sense of urgency. They're 2-4. You have to win this game. You don't have much of a margin of error. And yeah, I expect the Jets to win.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Jets here because one thing, the defense is just that Jets defense is nasty. Two, the Steelers wide receivers can't separate. Three, Arthur Smith. Four, you're not gonna be able to run the ball on. I don't see them being able to run the ball on. And the final thing is a famous football analyst, not the football we play, the football over in UK. He said, "Leave the football before the football leaves you. The football has left Russ." So I'm gonna go with the Jets. They just got the most juice right now.
Very simple. Very simple. Nothing else to be explained. Let's go to the Monday night games. Let's go Ravens versus
Another
Buccaneers.
doubleheader.
This is actually a good Monday night game.
9
Good Monday
p.m.
night match.
Somebody watching that crap.
Yeah, ain't nobody watching that game. That's why it's on ESPN Plus. Ravens versus Buccaneers. Ravens on the road. This is going to be an entertaining game. If you like points,
it has shootout potential. Yeah.
If you looking at a game you want to bet, that's the game to bet because it's going to be a lot of points being scored. Man, this one. I think the Ravens are the better team, but any given Sunday, you just never know how things are gonna turn out. I like the Ravens this game. I think Lamar Jackson and that offense are going to just put up a lot of points. I don't think the Buccaneers are going to be able to stop them. It's going to be a shootout, and I expect Lamar Jackson to take care of the ball more. I think whatever quarterback turns over the ball first when it matters most is going to lose the game. I think Baker Mayfield, he's going to turn the ball over. I still think Baker Mayfield's going to have a good game, but he has a tendency in the fourth quarter to turn the ball over at the wrong time, and the other team is able to capitalize. I think that's gonna happen in this game, and I think the Ravens win this game.
Yeah, I think the Ravens win, not pretty much for all the reasons you just stated. Also, there's only one team that has beat Lamar in the NFC, so I don't know what it is, but he's like invincible against the NFC. So I'm gonna go with the Ravens. They've been playing more disciplined football on offense, in my opinion. And Derrick Henry will. I think the Buccaneers are actually pretty good against the run. Let me check. I can easily check this 1 second.
So they are just
they're like 19th in rushing yards per game, I think. So Derrick Henry, he'll do Derrick Henry things, and I'm gonna just go with the Baltimore Ravens.
So Chargers versus Cardinals.
Oh brother,
this one. Hopefully Marvin Harrison plays, make it a little bit more interesting.
He practiced fully.
Yeah, he did. He did actually. So it seems like he's going to be. It seems like he's the momentum is going towards he's going to play Monday night, which is great. Man, Chargers limited offense, Cardinals limited offense, not because of their talent, but because of the play calling. Man, this one is tough. Chargers have
I'm gonna do quarterback versus quarterback. So I'm going with the Chargers.
Yeah, you're going with the Chargers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the team with the better coaching and the better defense and the better quarterback in this game. I just think the Cardinals, I don't think their coaching is all that well. I think offensively they're being hampered. Well, I wouldn't say that. The offense is being limited because of the offensive coordinator. that offensive coordinator, whatever Dave, whatever his name is, I forgot his last name, but he is really hurting Kyler Murray and this offense because whatever it is, they just can't get anything going. The running game has been okay, but besides the running game, it just hasn't looked that good. It doesn't look dynamic. It doesn't look very it just doesn't look good at all. That's all I can really say on that matter. And the Chargers, their offense hasn't been all that good, but I trust Justin Herbert, I trust the defense, and I trust the coaching staff for the Chargers, and I expect them to win this game.
Yeah. The offensive coordinator for the Cardinals is Drew Petzing.
Okay. Good. Yeah, he sucks. He really sucks. Anywho, so that'll do it on week 7 of our NFL picks. And yeah. All right. I want to get to let me see here. We're not gonna go to NBA. We'll go NBA last. So it's been, I think, a year and a half since we've done this segment. So Brian suggested that we bring the segment back, and I thought, you know what? Why not? You're doing the salute segment on Tuesdays. So I thought, you know what? How about I do the segment that we used to do on Saturdays? The Fraud Watch List. If you don't know about the Fraud Watch, it's here's the criteria. So I select 3 players that I believe had expectations coming into the season. And as of right now, they're not living up to those expectations. And so I put them on my Fraud Watch list because, number 1, they're under surveillance. Number 2, if they don't live up to their expectations after I put them on the Fraud Watch, then they're effectively, let's just say, washed, or they're just not good anymore. They're cooked food. So as of right now, I have 3 players, and here is the 3 players that are under surveillance. All right. Number 1, I got to put my boy on there. I got to put Rashawn Gary on there. You're on the Fraud Watch list, Rashawn Gary. You haven't been playing good football this year. I understand that going from a 3-4 to a 4-3 scheme, you have to adjust. You went from being a linebacker to now you're a defensive lineman. So there's some things that you have to change up when it comes to that. And then I also heard that the weight, I think he lost some weight as well. So there's different variables to why he's probably not doing as well as he thought. But dog, we gave you a new contract last year, $96 million, I think it was, and you just haven't been living up to the bill. You're not even top 20 in pass rush win rate. You only have 7 quarterback pressures this year. That's less than Montez Sweat. That's less than Liatu Latu, the rookie for the Colts. That's less than Jared Verse, who's a rookie for the Los Angeles Rams. That's less than so many other pass rushers, and he just hasn't been living up to the bill. He only has 1 sack this year. He just hasn't been dominant. He hasn't been good, and that's the reason why the Packers and their defensive line, that's why they're one of the worst in the league when it comes to pass rush win rate. You have to play better. You're on the Fraud Watch list. You're under surveillance because as of right now, we expected more from you, and you're just not doing it right now. All right, number 2 on my list, I'm going to go with Brandon Ayuk. You know, Brandon Ayuk, you got a new contract. You second team All-Pro last year. You had 1,300 yards, Pro Bowler. You were doing all this good stuff. And then entering the season, you went back to your old ways before you were a second team All-Pro. Before you were a Pro Bowler, before you put up 1,300 yards. You looking like the same Brandon Ayuk that we saw the first couple of years in the season. What's going on, bro? Because besides 1 game this season, you've been looking very mid. You've been looking very mediocre. And
I got some numbers for you.
That's not what the 49ers signed up for. That's not what the 49ers paid you over, what was it, over $100 million for? And you were crying in the offseason talking about, oh, I deserve top wide receiver money. Well, you got paid and you're not playing like a top wide receiver. So you're on the fraud watch list because we expected more from you and we expected you to be dominant this year. And you just haven't been playing up to the bill right now. And you're supposed to be
He
the number one
is
receiver.
22nd in receiving yards.
Egregious. You can't do that for a guy making over $30 million a year. That's just terrible. Well, close to $30 million a year. You can't do that. That's just terrible. All right.
Like his best game, 147 yards, but his other games, 48 yards, 48 yards, 43 yards, 23 yards, 37 yards.
Come on, man. Come on, you can't win that way. I don't care. Oh, it's scheme. Oh, it's that, man. I don't want to hear that. You're getting paid close to 30 million. I don't want to hear that. All right. My last player on the fraud watch list, Brian, you're gonna love this one. Aaron Rodgers. Yes, Aaron Rodgers. I have to put you on the fraud watch list. Yes. 9 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Egregious. I'm looking at passer rating. I think he's like 26 in passer rating. Yeah, 26 in passer rating. That is egregious. Funny enough, Dak Prescott's 25. But anywho, 26 is horrible. 9 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. You were supposed to be the guy that was supposed to get the Jets offense over the hump. This Jets offense was supposed to be elite under your helm because they looked at Zach Wilson and they were like, man, if we just have a good quarterback, we should be successful. And so far, that is not the case. Last week, you guys played a lot better, but you still turned the ball over. Now you have Devontae Adams. There is no excuse. No excuse, Aaron Rodgers. The fact that you could scapegoat a guy like Mike Williams, you could scapegoat the offensive coordinator, you could scapegoat the head coach, you could do all this different stuff, blame these different people except yourself. Well, now it all falls on you because this is the offense you want. These are the receivers that you want. You have everybody that you want. You have to get it done. Because if not, then I'm going to look at you and I'm going to say you're washed because you haven't been playing good football. So that is the 3 players on the fraud watch list that are under surveillance as of right now. And if they don't live up to the bill, we're going to have conversations.
Okay, I like those picks. Honestly, I thought you was going to put Trev on the list.
Trayvon Diggs?
No, Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, Trevor Lawrence. Nah, I mean, we already know. Like, we already know what it is. Like, I don't really need to say much because I was never really sold on Trevor Lawrence. You weren't really sold on Trevor Lawrence. So I feel like we've already kicked him down as it is. I don't really need to say much more. Like, everybody knows. But Aaron Rodgers, Brandon Ayuk, Rashawn Gary, I think it's time to really highlight the fact that they're just not playing well. Like, they're not living up to expectations. And it's time for me to address it and finally addressed it. They're on the fraud watch list. And if they don't play well these next couple of weeks, then it's time to have conversations about them just being, they were good dudes, All right, let's go. I want to transition. The NBA is finally back. We got the NBA regular season is officially back on next Tuesday. So the Lakers play the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Celtics. They played the New York Knicks. Two really good matchups beginning of the season. Just a lot of stuff has been going on this off season. Obviously, with the Knicks, they just recently traded for Karl-Anthony Towns. They brought in Mikal Bridges. They made a lot of moves. They re-signed OG Anunoby. They traded away Julius Randle. The Timberwolves, they traded for Julius Randle. They traded away Karl-Anthony Towns. They brought in Dante DiVincenzo. They drafted the point guard out of Kentucky, Rob Dillingham. So it's a lot of stuff that's going on. Obviously, the Lakers, they hired JJ Redick. They drafted Dalton Connect. They done some. I wouldn't say they made a lot of moves, but in terms of like coaching wise and draft picks. They also brought in Bronny James as well. With that being said, let me ask you this, Brian. Who is your favorites in the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference to make the NBA Finals?
My favorite in the Western Conference,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm still going to say the Mavericks, because the
Really?
Mavericks, you can say they got better because they got rid of Derrick Jones Jr., who was very streaky in the playoffs. They bought in Klay Thompson. I know Klay Thompson didn't have the greatest shoot. The last performance we saw from him, he went 0 for 10. But from an offensive aspect, he still demands a certain level of attention. You won't be able to leave Klay Thompson open like they was able to leave Derrick Jones Jr. open. And and yeah, and obviously, Derek Lively, he's expected to make a year two leap. He was already pretty good defensively last year as a rookie. So who knows, he could get even better this year. They haven't really lost a bunch of dudes that you really lose sleep over. So yeah, I mean, hopefully they get Jaden Hardy more involved in the rotation. He's a young player. He could provide a spark off the bench with some scoring. But yeah, I mean, I still think the Mavs is still one of the top teams in the West. If not the Mavs, then it would be, I guess, the Timberwolves. But I still got to see how that Julius Randle, how does he mesh with the offense and things like that. And on the Eastern Conference side of the things, sorry to say it, I'm gonna still go with the Celtics. I mean, their roster is pretty much the same. They have all the continuity in the world. They just come off a championship. Jason Tatum, and I know people got stuff to say about Tatum. He's still nearly a 30 points per game scorer in the regular season, at least. And obviously, the team is good enough to fall back on Jaylen Brown in the playoffs if Tatum is struggling. And they still got Drew Holiday, still got Chris Stopps, and what's his name? Joe Mazzulla is still a great coach. I mean, I don't see what other team. Maybe the Knicks really shouldn't even be considered as favorites in the East, because the Celtics, they still got the artillery.
All right. I mean, make interesting points. I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one. I think on the Western Conference front, I like the Thunder over the Mavericks and the Timberwolves. I think the Thunder are a more complete team. I like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander more than I do Anthony Edwards. I just think that the young players for the Thunder, they're going to make a leap. I think Chet Holmgren is only going to get better. I think Jalen Williams is only going to get better. I think that experience in the playoffs will really get them a lot better, a lot more hungry. I think the additions of Alex Caruso is going to be very important in the playoffs, because then you got him guarding Luka, you got him guarding Ant. That's really going to help them a lot. Hartenstein, that's another one, a quality rotational big for them. He's really going to add a defensive presence to them. He could also rebound a little bit. I like the OKC Thunder. I just think they have so many different dudes that they can go to. They're a really, really good defensive team as well with Lou Dort. It's just so much stuff I like about the OKC Thunder, and they're young, but they're hungry and they're ready to go. That's just my opinion. I just think with the Mavericks, I think their window in terms of like going to the NBA Finals and possibly winning was last year. I think they found a perfect storm. They found the right matchups at the right time. And losing Derrick Jones, I forgot who else they lost, but I don't think they have the wing defenders to really make it difficult on the rest of the Western Conference. I think Klay Thompson, in my opinion, I'm not gonna say he's washed, but I don't think he's all that good. I think he's not going to be really much of a huge factor for them. Yeah, he can knock down some shots, but he's not the defender he once was. And I don't think Luka has enough help in order to win. Yeah, Kyrie is amazing. Yeah, Luka, he's an MVP caliber player, but you need guys that can defend on the wing, and you need, besides their, yeah, they have a solid big man rotation, but you need the wing defenders. You need guys that can defend on the wing if you want to win, if you want to come out of the Western Conference. And I just don't see that happening. And I think Klay Thompson, what we saw last year when he went 0 for 10 from the field, I just don't see him turning back the clock and start being a dead eye shooter like he used to. I just think this is just who he is.
I
And
mean,
yeah,
those are solid points, but like I said, these other teams got to show me. The Thunder have to show me. Like I like the Thunder too. They would be in my top three in the if I had to rank the Western Conference teams, but they just got to show me when it was time to go against the Mavs. I mean, the youth showed, and players like J Dub, he wasn't hitting shots. Chet Holmgren wasn't particularly good. It was pretty much Shea and company out there. We all know Shea gonna be good. He gonna get his about 30 a game regardless, but all these other dudes, they got to step up. I like the Caruso additions and all of that, but you got to put points up. Will J Dub make the leap he needs to make offensively to be a real big contributor against these solid defensive teams in the Western Conference? It's yet to be seen. So I'm gonna just go with I do know versus projections or things that's supposed to happen.
okay, all right, fair enough. So in the Eastern Conference, I understand your Celtics pick, but I'm gonna go with the Knicks. I just think the Knicks, they have the pieces to match up against the Boston Celtics and make it very, very difficult for them. They have the wing defenders that you can put up against a Tatum and against a Jaylen Brown. That's what you need against the Boston Celtics, because against the Mavericks, they didn't have the wing defenders to really disrupt what's going on with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown too much. I think this Knicks team, all facets. Yeah, their bench isn't what it once was, but against the Boston Celtics, that doesn't really have much of a bench. I mean, they have about 7 guys. All you need is around 7 dudes. And I look at this Knicks team with Karl-Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, with Mikal Bridges, with obviously Jalen Brunson. He's amazing as it is. Mitchell Robinson. You have that guard coming off the bench for them. They got all these different dudes, man. I'm just like, they fit perfectly under Tibbs' system, and they match up well with the Boston Celtics, because you got to be gritty. You got to have some dogs up on your team in order to match up against the Celtics. That's why Miami was able to in the past couple of years, they were able to like really match up well against Boston Celtics, because they have a defensive identity. They're tough-minded. They got dudes that can defend and knock down shots. That's what the Knicks have. And I think they have better talent than what Miami had. And I expect them to be the favorites in the Eastern Conference. They're my favorites, and I think they're going to go to NBA Finals this year. I think they've made enough moves to really put them ahead of the Sixers and the Boston Celtics. I think the Kristaps Porzingis injury, he will eventually come back, but how good will he be when he comes back? Because that's another, again, Kristaps is hurt again. Like, can you count on him? Because he's going to be the wild card in all of this. If he's not anything like he was when he was healthy, then it's going to be a long day for the Boston Celtics.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. But my thing with the Knicks, I like the Knicks roster, honestly. It's just health mostly. It's like, ugh. Them Tibbs minutes over the course of a season, they wear down on you when it's time to play playoff basketball. You can injuries start piling up. Like you've seen last year, Julius Randle was hurt. OG was hurt. Maybe some other injuries I can't remember as of right now. But yeah,
Mitchell
that's how
Robinson.
exactly. That's how the Pacers was able to get out and run on them. So I mean, it's just a war of attrition when you get to the playoffs. And is the Tibbs 40+ minutes a game model sustainable in this era of basketball where players need more rest than ever because for whatever reason they're more brittle? I don't know how. We got the best sports science and nutritionists of all time, and then these dudes playing less and less games. I don't know how that happens, but yeah. At
Beyond me.
least the league is doing something to help eliminate back to backs. So
yeah.
but yeah, the Knicks will probably be my second team, honestly.
Yeah, I forgot to mention Josh Hart as well, and they also have
Josh.
they have that other guard, McBride. So they have those two dudes. They have those two dudes coming off the bench.
I will say at least they got some Ironmen Well, as in like Mikal Bridges. See, I don't think he's ever missed a game.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
dude.
it's a really good. I hope we get a Celtics in next series.
Mm-hmm.
That would
Because
move
I think
the needle.
I I think it will be like if we do get that series, it's really going to show like, okay, Jason Tatum, like this is a good defensive team now. This ain't no slouch team right now. Like, can you overcome the circumstances? Like, can you show that no matter what defense you're going up against, that you can dominate, and it's not just Jaylen Brown that's carrying the team. Like, you can actually dominate. All right. I want to talk a little bit about we got, NBA. We got to talk about my team, man. You got to talk about the Lakers. Um, I have to be realistic about this because yes, we finally got rid of that terrorist in Darvin Ham. Thank God. We try to joke around about the whole salute stuff, but it was just bad, man. It was just egregious what he was doing with that team. I do like some of the things that I saw from preseason. I haven't watched the games, but I've seen some clips in terms of just plays being called, off ball movement, utilizing screens, freeing up offensive players to get good looks from the 3-point line or cutting as well. It seems like JJ Redick's system is really going to help a lot and free up a lot of players, not make it solely on the shoulders of LeBron and Anthony Davis to create everything, which is great. Here's my thing. I think this Lakers team is going to be a process. I expect them to start off slow. I don't think it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be perfect coming into the season. I expect them to lose against the Timberwolves this Saturday, this Tuesday, because I think they're still working through the motions on how to implement this offense when it comes to LeBron and Anthony Davis and everybody around him. It's gonna be a process. I think this team, they'll probably be like a 5th or 6th seed. I don't think they're gonna be in contention for an NBA championship because I just don't think they have the wing defenders, and I don't think they have the bigs enough besides Anthony Davis that can really challenge any of these teams in the Western Conference. They could win a playoff series, but for the most part, I think this is a 5th or 6th seeded team at best, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there. I don't expect them to finish top four in the West, because of new system and all of that. I'm not a big fan of. I wasn't a big fan of the JJ Redick hire. I'm sure he'll be better on the offensive end, but at the end of the day, you're still putting too much work on old man LeBron James.
Hmm.
He's almost 40. You can't be having him still be like the number one dude offense. The offense needs to run through Anthony Davis.
Hmm.
And but and from what I've been hearing, they said I don't know if that's a troll quote or what. They were saying JJ Redick been telling him to shoot more threes in the offseason. I'm like,
No, it's not a
no.
troll. It's not a
Oh
troll.
my
And
goodness.
he's
But I believe
actually. I'll
Anthony
say
Davis
this.
said he wasn't doing it. So,
No, he has. Here's what happened. So
oh
it's
Lord.
actually bode well for him. So like I think it was one of the preseason games. Anthony Davis had a really good game, and I think he made 4 threes one
Mm,
game. So I see why JJ Redick would want Anthony Davis to shoot more threes because the numbers, the analytics probably say so. I trust JJ Redick because it seems like he knows what he's doing. I just don't think that this team is ready from just a personnel standpoint. I don't think they have the requisite talent in order to compete with the elite teams in the NBA, unless they could always make a trade. But I don't trust Rob Pelinka to find the necessary trades in order to put this team over the top. So I'm gonna put this
mm.
team. I would say they're a 5th or 6th seeded team. The offense will be better. They'll be more efficient, but defensively, I don't see them getting much better.
Yeah. That's where I'm at with the Lakers pretty much. It's really just like you said, it's a process, you gotta trust the process. But no, seriously
Trust the
though, yeah.
process.
It's just
What about your
they'll be
Bucks?
all
What
right.
about your Bucks? How you feel about your
My
Bucks?
Bucks. You mean the Bucks.
Your
It's
Bucks
Wiz
because you
Kids
you
over here.
switched teams. You went
Nope,
from
it's Wiz
the
Kids.
Wizards. Oh, here we go. What do you think about the Bucks, man?
Um, Not great things. That's what I think. You got Doc Rivers and Darvin Ham on the same coaching staff. That's like Hitler and Stalin on the same team. But I don't have high expectations for them at all. I think they'll make the playoffs obviously because it's just Giannis and just so good. Dame, he's on the decline in my opinion. He's not a good dude just yet, but he has to show me something this year to even have a little bit of faith in this team because it's not looking great. They could end up a 5-6 seed in the East. I don't think they'll finish top 3 or top 4 in my opinion. Um, Honestly, this kind of feels like a season where the Bucks fall short. They probably get bounced in the second round, and then Giannis gets traded to some team in the West or something. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
You think Giannis is close to being on his way out? Is what you're saying? He's pretty much checked out.
It's starting to trend that way. I don't know about checking out, but like he said they don't win a championship. I'm pretty sure he's just saying that to like for some type of in case he wants to ask for a trade, so he could be like, look, see, I told you they was going to trade me if we didn't win a championship. I already know his game, but yeah, it kind of feels like the beginning of the end for the Bucks. Well, not the beginning of the end, but like the decline is coming.
The decline is the avalanche is coming.
Yeah.
What about we didn't talk about this, but so Kawhi Leonard he's going to be out indefinitely yet again. No surprise. He still dealing with I think it's inflammation in his knee. At this point, is it over? Like, should we just say, hey, it was a great career? Like, you had an amazing career, but it's time to hang it up because you just can't stay healthy. The Clippers, boy, oh boy, if I had, the SpongeBob song with the violin, it's one of those situations because, boy, man, they have really fumbled it all. They fumbled it all. They put all their eggs in one basket in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Now Paul George is with the 76ers and Kawhi Leonard can't stay healthy. And they resigned him for all that money.
Yeah. Unfortunate situation for the Clippers, but hey, that's what happens when you gamble. You win some, you lose some. And they lost big. They put a 15-leg parlay together, and now they could mess around and give the Thunder a top 5 pick if they suck this year. So, yeah.
So
Steve Ballmer,
and they got a new stadium.
Yep. So that return on investment is because it's not looking good for them boys. They probably mess around, miss the playoffs.
See,
people say Harden never missed the playoffs, buddy. It's 2024.
And Tyronn Lue, he was like, hey, I'm gonna resign with the Clippers, I'm gonna stay with the Clippers, like I don't want to go to the Lakers. Oh, okay, all right, cool.
I mean, at least if he lose on the Clippers, they're gonna be, look, see, I ain't got no players. My best star player
hurt. All my players been hurt. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Exactly.
All right, cool.
Them excuses ain't gonna fly in the other LA team.
You know what's funny? Brian? I remember when they there was like a video, I think it was like a year or two ago, where they showed like the development of the Clippers' new arena.
Mm-hmm.
And like I remember saying, I don't know if it's on the podcast, but I remember saying like Paul George and Kawhi are not going to be playing in that arena once it's done being built. And look here, we're in 2024 and Kawhi Leonard is out indefinitely and Paul George is with the 76ers. Isn't that funny? Like, the fact that you put so much money into this team and you can't even reap the benefits of the arena. Like, they've done so much in terms of like making it just attractive for like fans.
Nice.
Like, it looks really, really nice. But
I mean, either way, they'll still make money because it'll be concerts and stuff held there. But
yeah, for sure.
As far as the basketball side,
the basketball side is poo. It's poo. Terrible. Yeah,
seats ain't gonna be
bad. It's gonna be
Yeah.
Kevin Porter Jr. It's gonna be James Harden, and it's gonna be Bones Highland getting their buckets. It's gonna be whoever offense. It's gonna be ball don't stop offense. Hey. Let me get my 20. You get your 20. You get your 20. All right, cool. Because we're not gonna be winning much games for
Yeah,
sure.
it's James Harden will have to pull off a miracle to get these dudes to the playoffs without Kawhi.
All right. For the last thing, we didn't talk about it a whole lot, but Timberwolves, you mentioned a little bit with Julius Randle. I think with the Timberwolves, what it's going to boil down to is the development of Anthony Edwards. Like Anthony Edwards, he's going to have to take a leap this year. He's going to have to take a major leap this year if they want to have a chance to make it to the NBA Finals, because losing Karl Anthony Towns was one of the major reasons why they made it to the Western Conference Finals. Matter of fact, he was the best player in that Denver Nuggets series. It wasn't even Anthony Edwards, because Anthony Edwards, the first 2 games, he was dominant. But then after that, Karl Anthony Towns was the one really taking over. He was the one doing a good job defending Jokic, defending the paint. Losing him, Anthony Edwards is going to have to really take that next step in order for the Timberwolves to really go to where they think they can go to. I think this team, I think the Timberwolves are a year away, in my opinion. I think they wanted to just clear the books. And with Julius Randle, I think his contract is team friendly. And then Dante DiVincenzo is a really, really nice role player. I think they're a year away before they really feel like they can compete for a championship. And with Karl Anthony Towns, he's a good player, but he's not a guy that you can trust on a championship team. And for somebody getting paid over 200 M's, I wouldn't want him on my team either. So I think they just wanted to clear the books on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I can absolutely see that possibility happening. I do think Anthony Edwards needs to step up as a player and as a leader to
Mm-hmm.
really take this team to the big stage. And yeah, like you said, I agree with you fully. I think they're a year away. I think this year they'll still be one of the top teams in the Western Conference because they still have depth. They're still a good team. But that next year though, when like Rob Dillingham is going to be more acclimated to the league, he's going to be a really solid scorer off the bench and stuff like that. And then who knows what other moves they could possibly make over the next off season. I think the Timberwolves will probably be after this year. They'll probably be looked at as the favorites, or if
Mm-hmm.
not top 2, if anything. So yeah, I don't
Yeah.
really expect the Timberwolves to be, oh, they got to go to the finals or Anthony. No, I don't think like that for them. They're still a young
They
team.
remind they remind me a little bit of, I'm gonna make an NFL analogy. They remind me a little bit of the Bills in terms of like they traded away their star player, which was Stephon Diggs. They did trade him away. They traded away Stephon Diggs. They traded away Karl Anthony Towns, and we have this feeling like the expectation is not okay for them to go to the Super Bowl. The expectation is they're gonna be good. We expect them to possibly make the playoffs, but we don't expect them to like really compete for a Super Bowl. Now, the Bills, they just traded for Amari Cooper. So you can say, well, now it's kind of changed a little bit. But with the Timberwolves, I just look at them and I say they're a year away. Before we get out of here, just real quick, the Denver Nuggets, we expecting them to compete for the championship for the next couple of years, but now losing some role players in free agency, they lost Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. It just
Yeah.
seems like the Denver Nuggets, as we thought they were going to be for the next couple of years, is just not going to happen. It just seems like they're a team that they were able to get the right matchups. They were able to capitalize at a certain point in time. They won the championship, and now they're back to where they were before, which is a really nice team. You have an MVP caliber player in Nikola Jokic, an all-time great player in Nikola Jokic, a really nice player in Jamal Murray, and Aaron Gordon. He's a quality player, and then you have I'm missing somebody else, but they have some nice pieces, but it just doesn't seem like a team that has the talent in order to win a championship. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's fair. If if I had to make a comparison for the Nuggets, it would be kind of like, mm, nah, I can't
The
make a
Rams?
comparison. I was going to say the Rams because they won the championship, but they just haven't been got there, but yeah, I just the Nuggets. I think their time is just pretty much like I said. They'll probably be like the playoff team they were pre they won a ring. That they would be a good team. You always be like, oh, Jokic and Murray and all that, but you weren't really expecting them to win anything.
No,
It's kind of
no.
like playoff filler.
They capitalized on their window. They had a small window and they capitalized on it. They got a
Yeah,
championship, but losing the role players that you used to have, and now even losing another role player in Contavious Caldwell-Pope. Now, granted, I wouldn't pay Contavious Caldwell-Pope all that money, but not having the role player talent that you used to, it's going to be very hard for the Denver Nuggets to be thought of as a legitimate title contender. And I think this year is going to continue that way. And I think the younger teams, the OKCs and even possibly the Timberwolves, I think they're going to one up them. And I expect them to be a little bit better than the Denver Nuggets, with even though the Denver Nuggets have the MVP and Nikola Jokic. So, all right. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here? I know one it's like some a bunch of college football games. We have Colorado versus Arizona, which is always going to be a good game. You have Texas versus Georgia. You have Alabama versus Tennessee. So these are some really good matches. Louisville versus Miami. So these are some really good matches. Do you have any thoughts on that? Not.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to watch those games, but hopefully, Georgia can beat Texas because that'd be funny. And I'm a Georgia fan, so yeah. I will say, or as far as the NBA goes, I'm gonna say two teams I want people to like. Don't fully count these teams out. I'm not saying they're going to win anything, but I'm just saying don't be surprised if they're actually good. And those two teams, I'm gonna do one East, one West. One on the East, obviously the Pacers. They still have Halliburton. They still had that great offense, and I think I think they might have gotten better over the off season, honestly. And Tyrese Halliburton, even though he was pretty much right at the bench in the Olympics, but that's still experience though at the end of the day. And on the Western Conference side, do not count out the Memphis Grizzlies. We know how they get when Ja is back and up and running. So if they sneak in that top 5 of seeding in the playoffs, don't be surprised.
You heard it first. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell, follow the socials as well. And we will see you all on the next episode of the Courtside View Podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.